Welcome to Greek for a Week. I'm glad that you are viewing another video here, and we are continuing our study through the book of First Peter. So you notice here at the top that we're going to be looking at verses 8 and 9. So here's verse 8 and here's verse 9. We're looking at the larger paragraph, which is chapter 1, which is verses 3 through 12 here. And so it looks like probably in another week or two, we will be wrapping up our individual study of all of the verses, and then I will look to diagram the entire paragraph, verses 3 through 12. So that's coming down the pipe in a couple weeks. But let's go ahead and let's look at verses 8 and 9. Having not seen him. Okay, so having not seen him, what happens? You love him. In him, now, having not seen him, but believing in him, you greatly rejoice with joy inexpressible and full of glory, because you are receiving the outcome of your faith, the salvation of your souls. So here we can see in these couple of verses here that Peter's really bringing to the forefront what it is that the recipients of Peter's first letter, what it is that not only are they receiving, but then what is it that they are doing, and then how will that ultimately then play itself out in the rest of the letter. So let's look at our first word, which is a relative pronoun, han. Okay, well, this relative pronoun points back to its antecedent, which is Christou, which is Christ, there in verse 7. This han here, it's in the accusative case because it is functioning as the direct object of agapete. If you recall your relative pronouns, they agree with their antecedent in gender and number. In this case, it's masculine and it's singular, and it does go back to Christou, which is masculine and singular. However, the reason for it being in the accusative case is because it's functioning as the direct object then of this particular verb here. So you love him. That's where I got the him in that translation. Now you have two participles. You have edantes. All right, edantes. I'll put that in brackets, as well as herontes. Herontes. Both of those are participles. The first one, edantes, is an aorist active participle. The second one, herontes, is a present active participle. I'm contending that both of these are concessive, so we could translate it this way: although having not seen him, you love him. And then, although having not seen him, you believe in him. All right. And as a result, you could say of believing in him, again, you greatly rejoice with joy that's inexpressible and full of glory. So if we continue here, the agapate, that is a second person plural. I'm going to suggest here it's a present active indicative of agapao. You love him. And then you have another participle, pisteuantes. Pisteuantes. That is also a present active participle. And I'm going to say that it's probably a temporal participle, or it's an attendant circumstance participle that is occurring at the same time that the rejoicing is taking place. So, but believing, you greatly rejoice. So I think both of those kind of go hand in hand. Then you have your adjective here. This anekleleto. This is a I'm going to suggest here a dative of apposition referring to the joy, and it's what kind of joy. It's inexpressible joy. And then if you continue on through that, you're going to have the kara. I would suggest here that this dative is likely manner. So you are greatly rejoicing how? With joy. And then what kind of joy is that? An inexpressible joy. And then we end with a verbal form here, which is a participle. It's a perfect passive participle. And I think it's an attributive participle, attributing the quality of being full of glory to those who are greatly rejoicing, which would be the you plural here. Then as we work our way down to verse 9, I think you have a causal participle here, which is a present middle participle, masculine nominative plural, of kamizo. And again, that's why I translate it, because you are receiving. What is it that you're receiving? The ta telos. I put that down as outcome. It's the object of this particular participle. What is it that we're receiving? The outcome, the finality, if you will. Remember, telos is the idea of complete. So it might be the outcome. And then what is it specifically the outcome of? Again, here is salvation. So terion. I think this is accusative apposition to the outcome. So specifically the outcome of your faith, which is your salvation, or the salvation of your souls. Yeah, it's a bit tricky here with a number of grammatical things in these two verses. Trust that I have made some sense of them. But again, as we continue to move forward, I don't know if I will do verses 10 through 12 next week. I probably will. And then which would be a diagram of 1, 3 through 12 then in a couple of weeks. Have a great week.